Yo, it is Chap, and I thought, you know, I'll make a great video for the channel, busting through my record collection. I was an avid record collector until I realized I was spending way too much money on it and just cut down to bare sentimental value records. You think this would actually be chocker with Electro Swing, but there is only a few Electro Swing records in here. The others may surprise you. This is an order from when I bought it, so no, it's not. Porter Robinson Worlds, this is an iconic album for Porter because it was his transition from EDM into more kind of a very different sound overall from what he was used to, and helped transition his music overall into his current sound. Taught me basically music has no rules, do whatever the hell you want. Lord Pure Heroin. This was a staple of my last year in high school, 2013. So many good memories with this album, kind of like capturing the last essence of childhood before adulthood. Die, Kiwi punk band. I'm a Kiwi. Went to one of their shows. The sweatiest I've ever been in a mosh pit. Absolutely unreal. Pure energy, hardcoreness is just... And they were selling merch, so yeah, support your local artists and buy their merch. James Blake, Overgrown, yet another 2013 album. Yet another classic, one of those just break the rules of music, anything goes. This was ahead of the time. Very untrue. Garage, atmosphere, dark, electronic. Production was unreal. He wasn't even using like proper Ableton or FL Studio. It was some software where you have to manually drag in the audio clips. This is just still an unreal album. Had to have it. Motown 2020 hits. Love the Motown era. I'm trying to hold back from saying bangers a lot in this video because I feel like that's gonna happen a lot. Absolute classic. The Commodores. Oh yeah! I need to listen to that again. Flume, yet another 2013 end of high school iconic era album. I haven't even opened it. It's still got its seal on it. Flume, I kind of feel like did a sound that nobody had ever heard before, and I kind of want to capture that essence in 2015 when I first started making Electro Swing. I want to kind of blend it with all sorts of different sounds that nobody had really heard. Drake Bell, Ready Steady Go, vintage rockabilly, amazing composition, songwriting, even though most of them are covers as well, but just the absolute essence captured in the album is what I strive for with my own albums. Here we go, first Electro Swing album. This is, and still is, my favorite Electro Swing album of all time. Caravan Palace, Panic. I aspire to be that level of electro and swing at the same time. Perfect blend. Kate Trinata, I think it's 99.9% or something like that. So much funk in this record. So good. And now we're busting into drum and bass. There's a lot of drum and bass in this. Fred V and Graphics Recognize. Helped me get through a kind of rough point in time in my life. Super grateful for this album. Still so good. More drum and bass, Kino, Futurist, Hospital Records. Absolutely love Kino's style of drum and bass. I think I got a few more of his in here. Combining like orchestra, cinematic elements with liquid D&B. It makes such a good blend of that style. Links, I Am Links, another absolute anything goes with music approach. I learned a lot from this. He just adds random sounds here and there that don't even... You wouldn't even think would like sound cool, but every little random sound just works absolutely. So draw a lot of inspiration from this one. Avenged Sevenfold, self-titled album. I was listening to this the other day, still so good. And my favorite Avenged Sevenfold album. This is metal, by the way, if you guys didn't know. Not drum and bass, not electro swing, pure metal, so good. Jack U album. Yet another Anything Goes album. I think I'm noticing a trend or a theme here. Very similar to this album in the way of just chucking random sounds, anything goes. This was 2015 as well. I definitely think this played a part in my early Odd Chap sound of just like chucking random sounds in. Just combining anything with electro swing, see if it works. Young Star Pulse EP, classic grime instrumental on this. My cousin gave it to me for a birthday present. There's one particular grime instrumental which is so good. Hospital Records NHS 300. There was a book that came with this. It was like a limited edition of rhyme. Obviously wanting to support the label as well, so quite a few bangers on that. Kavinsky 1986. I love the kind of 1980s cross with electro sound. It just goes hard. Perfect for nighttime drives and everything. Just captured the essence of late night driving. Akadaka, Blow Up Your Video. If you don't have AC/DC in your record collection, are you even Australian or Kiwi? That is the question. Okay, this chunk of records here, they're not sleeved or anything. They are... Oh, I wonder if this has Little Man Who Wasn't There. It probably does. Yeah, it does! I was originally listening to this and I was like, I need to remix / cover this track. It is absolutely incredible. Elliot Lip, Shark, Wolf, Rabbit, Snake. I listened to this album for like a couple of weeks on repeat. Crazy, no limits, breaking genres, just whatever kind of style, direction you want to do, it really works. And it's got a hint of like fat bass lines, which I love, so yeah. Krakota, Citadels, I think I said that right. I used to listen to this every single day for like a few months before I'd head into uni, just like absolutely crank it. It's got such good bass lines in it, love it. It's D&B, by the way, another Hospital Records one. Oh, this is a fucking classic. Stardust, Music Sounds Better With You. If you haven't heard the song before, I was gonna say stop the video, but no, I want you to keep watching. Those who know the track, know the track. Kino, I said there'd be more Kino. Like I said before, absolute master at cinematic liquid D and B. Bonobo, oh, this is such a good live album. Alternative electronic music, because there's so many just, not acoustic elements, but just like real world elements into it, so. And yeah, combining that with like Four on the Floor, electronic music. Oh yeah, such a sick combo. NXS Kick. Absolutely love this album, still listen to this album. This is kind of the direction I took from my last collaborations album. Pretty sure there's 10 songs on here, and when they were writing this, they wanted every single song to be a hit. All killer, no filler, as some other people would describe, and yeah, that's what I want to do with collaborations. Have just every single track as a single, no filler in between whatsoever. Why does anyone ever do anything? Classic Hospital Records drum and bass bangers. Another one, Hospital Records bangers, Daddy Bird, Soul Function. Another one, Golden Ticket, Daddy Bird. I was on a big drum and bass phase when I was buying all this stuff. Look, more drum and bass, Break and Resistance. I've got so many D&B here. There's not really a backstory behind this D&B, just like I love D&B. I was like, I'm gonna buy that on vinyl. Herbie Hancock, Future Shock. There is one song, Rocket, that's in particular. Because I did audio music in uni, this song came up, I was like, far out, this is an absolute tune. Went to the record store later that day and bought it just for that tune, so I'm still yet to listen to the rest of the album. Shapeshifter, Delta, more drum and bass. These guys are Kiwis, and yeah, they make sick D and B. Yup, had to support the boys. Kavinsky Outrun, like I said with the other Kavinsky one, late night driving vibes, just you can't go wrong with that. If you are listening to it, First Blood, would recommend. Mojo Lady, kind of like Stardust Music Sounds Better With You. That classic early house music back in the day. If you haven't heard this song, where have you been? Honestly, where have you been? Oh, this is a funny story. Deadmau5 featuring Rob Swag, Ghost and Stuff, Nero, and Subfocus remix. Who puts territory restrictions on music? That's what I want to know. The Subfocus remix I listened to so many times on YouTube. Went to stream it on like Spotify, can't listen to it there. Territory restriction, not available in New Zealand. Okay. Apple Music, can't listen to it there. It might have changed, this was a while ago. Beatport, couldn't even download it there to listen to it, so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna buy the record. Nobody's gonna stop me from listening to it then. So I went and bought the record. Like, honestly, territory restrictions, I'll never understand that with music. Just make your music worldwide, have the chance for everybody to hear it. Full stop, end of story, yeah. Netsky, Running Low, more drum and bass. This is an absolute banger, enough said. Culprit, Deliverance, this was a crowdfunding campaign album. I'm so glad I did it. These records, freaking worth heaps at the moment, like the first edition one. Intricate sound design blew me away, still one of my top albums. The mix down, the sound design, the composition, just all the elements you'd want in a track, absolutely flawless, and the album art looks so sick. Front and back, so yeah. Etherwood, Souvenirs, another drum and bass EP banger, but there was an exclusive track available on this record, and so I just had to get it. Green Frog, this was made by one of my mates, so I had to support the cause. It's like grungy, atmospheric. That's how I best describe it. So had to support your friends, and it's a really cool sound, and it makes me think of rainy days, because yeah, that's the typical mood of the album when you're listening to it. Just like, sounds kind of depressing, but it's really not. Justice, self-titled album. Enough said, one of the best. So ahead of their times, just so good. James Blake, Enough Thunder. I knew I'd have more James Blake in this. Really spooky, crazy production. I've been sticking to my promise and haven't said bangers that many times in this video. Justice, Helix. Don't know why I got this, because I think I got the actual album with all these songs on it, so. This was the first ever record I got. Kino Preludes EP, like I said before, Kino, Liquid D&B, cinematic sounds, mushed them together, sounds amazing. So this was a definite kind of pivotal point in my life where I discovered records, and I just spent most of my money on them until I reined it in a bit. So yeah. Another Justice EP, this is Newlands. I swear I had the album that had all these EP tracks on them. We've got some loose ones here. It's more Hospital Records D&B. That's a really cool design for a record. So sick. This was the second album I got, more D&B from Hospital Records. Came on Crooked Zeitgeist. They started kind of branching into a new kind of era of sound with this album, and are super inspired by that. Madion Adventure. I think this is another one that's really expensive these days. I bought it for 30 New Zealand dollars, so that's roughly like 15 pounds or 20 US dollars. Also a point in my life where I was just listening to this constantly on the way back from uni. Pop, electro bangers, just yeah. And Madion's really young as well. Like, God, that's almost annoying at that point. It's just like, bro, chill out. Stop making music so good when you're so young. Justice Woman, I think it's called. I got this shit from the UK, I think. I was meant to listen to this album on a road trip with a good friend of mine, because the car only had a CD player. But the damn thing arrived a day after I set off for the road trip, so I couldn't get to listen to this on the road trip. And I'll forever associate that frustration with this album. Just a day late. Could have been an even better road trip listening to this album, but nah, I turned up a day late. There is a label called Inspected Records, and they do make, I'm not too sure if they're doing it anymore, but they made a track every November and they chuck it up on Bandcamp and the proceeds would go to Movember. So yeah, already a good cause, but honestly, Beyond the Shadows, Cohen Sound Culprit, Asa, and Gemini, one of my favorite songs ever. It's a long song, but it is so good. Caravan Palace, Robot album. I have a vivid memory of listening to the first track, Lone Digger, on the couch, and then hearing rap for the first verse, and just being like, okay, so we're going in this direction for Electro Swing, are we? This was a more kind of EDM approach for them, and combining rap and all sorts. I was just like, what? So definitely an inspiration for my own Electro Swing tunes. More In Excess, Listen Like These, absolute bang. They just write bangers, like honestly, their singles are incredible. More In Excess, X, another banger. DJ Shadow, 16. As some of you may already know, my favorite movie is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. What's your favorite film? Favorite movie? It's gotta be Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Yeah, it's still Tokyo Drift. And in one of the early scenes, it plays this song, 6 Days Remix, and I was like, yo, I'm getting that on vinyl, it has to be done, so yeah. LLT Prohibition Swing. I listened to this album so many times when it dropped, and then I listened to it so many more times when Offbeat came to New Zealand to work on his crowdfunder album, and this was kind of the inspiration I got for the aesthetic and the sound of his album. Still one of my absolute favorite Electro Swing albums. This is a very tight second place behind Caravan Palace, Panic. Oh, Prohibition Swing's probably my favorite Electro Swing song of all time. Damn, I'm probably due to listen to that again. I just played it so many times over the period of like 3-4 months. It was insane. Absolute must have if you're an Electro Swing nut like me. Early Parov and early Caravan Palace just really set the way for everybody else to work on their own Electro Swing. Forever grateful for this album, what it's done for the Electro Swing sound and community. Chasing Status. I thought this was going to be the whole album, turns out only to be 4 tracks because it was kind of an EP and they didn't press the whole album to vinyl, so oh well, we move. Miss June, Best Girl, more punk from New Zealand. I bought this at one of their shows. Support the locals, guys. Unopened as well, apart from that little tear there, but wanted to keep that in good condition. What do we got here? Prodigy, Fat in the Land. Mate, so good. Just the sampling and the rawness and everything about the album, so good. Oh, London Road, Mode Step. I have too many good things to say about this album. Almost every single song's 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this album. I was so happy when they announced they're gonna press it to vinyl. Just the overall atmosphere and the sounds. I sound like I'm talking out of my ass here, but just the theme that they managed to carry throughout the entire album. I'm due to listen to that album again more and more. More In Excess, The Swing, in particular the track, Original Sin. If you haven't heard it, your parents would have heard it. Their parents would have heard it. It's such an iconic track. Love that. Villainy, another Kiwi band. They make classic kind of Kiwi rock. Had to support the boys. So many good bangers on this one. And the drummer taught at my uni as well. So I didn't get guilted into buying his records. I just, yeah, he's a good dude. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna support the boys. And obviously listen to some great music at the same time. Signed! I forgot it was signed! Holy shit! Camo and Cook and Mosaic. This is an exceptional album. So many classics on here. They blend songs into another song. Like, it's like a mix in an album. Just so good. Definitely one of my favorite albums. And lastly, we have Parov Stella, Para Swing Box EP. If you want to blame any album for me making Electro Swing, you need to blame this album right here. Let me take you back. Early 2015, I was learning French. I was having a few drinks, I was cooking on the barbecue, and I was listening to this in the background. This EP just popped up on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I haven't listened to this. All the stars aligned in this exact moment. I'm listening to this in such a good headspace, just vibing, just drinking, learning French on my phone, listening to this in the background. And then later I realized I wanted to make music just like this to make me feel just as happy as I was listening to this. But I wanted to do my own spin on it, you know, combine different elements of different genres, like hard electro, throw different genres together, anything goes with music, have random structures, and that definitely dictated the early sound of Odd Chap. It definitely throughout my first album, Chronicles of Odd Chap, and I think I spent a fortune on shipping getting this here, but 100% worth it. And that is my record collection. Hopefully you did enjoy. Man, I bought a lot of drum and bass. I don't listen to that much drum and bass anymore, but I do love it. At the moment, there's only one record that I'm missing from this collection, and it's by an artist called Odd Chap, and the album is called Collaborations. Oh shit!
Yeah boy, after 3 years my collaborations album is finally here, and it's here on green vinyl. Massive thanks to all the collaborators involved, massive thanks to the label Freshly Squeezed, you guys are legends. If you do want to pick up a copy, we did a limited run and it will be available on oddchap.bandcamp.com, and a few select record stores also have them in the UK. And yeah, massive thanks to all the supporters, you guys are the absolute best. And yeah, go grab a copy. Yeah!